They sit in their newsrooms with their mics and their wires. Night by night, all they bring us are one-sided liars. BBC's bias, they don't even hide it, shouldn't surprise us. They're all colonizers. Don't get on the air unless you sing in their choir. One by one, all the Muslim journalists fired. And Palestine's children are burning in fire, while protesters arrested for putting up flyers. Arrest us for chants. From the sea to the river, every word that we use ends up forbidden. They say Palestinians aren't even existing. Trudeau thinks that genocide's surely a winner. They called the police for interrupting their dinner. Our politicians take money to visit the killers. They go on vacation, so now they stay quiet while Palestine's children are burning in fire. They're sending our taxes to weapons sellers and buyers. Every day of this occupation, their profits go higher. We send our police to be trained by advisors who roam the West Bank as terrorizers. And inside Israel's prisons are thousands of minors and women imprisoned without even a trial, living with checkpoints inside of those wires. They cut off the food and all the supplies, and no anesthesia for surgery either. If you show any joy, you just might expire. They're adding the doctors to funeral pyres. They're killing the journalists and banning the writers. And even the olives on the branches are dying. They tell us their plans are to leave no survivors. They say no one is innocent, not even in diapers. So Palestine's children are burning in fire. Israel resumed bombing and dropping their shells. They've kidnapped more people to put in their cells. In the West Bank, where no Hamas dwells, a pregnant woman, they say, is a 2-for-1 kill. And who's there to stop them? Nobody can tell. Biden's all in saying Gaza farewell. The ICJ ruling won't even compel. And we voted for settlements at the UN. And we'll keep saying Israel's right to defend, while every 10 minutes, another child dead. And if you play soccer, they'll shoot for your legs. Shireen Abu Akleh, they shot in the head, and they'll wage all this war without our consent. So be careful what products you buy off the shelves. Don't let propaganda put you under a spell, and I hope Henry Kissinger's burning in hell with all the war criminals who run this empire will force all these murdering scumbags to retire, because Palestine's children are dying in fire. And I'm going to do one more very quickly. Thank you. They want us defeated, removed, and deleted, and then not to speak it. To expire tidily, go away quietly, primitive society, children of darkness, the law of the jungle deserve to pull children from under the rubble. Every house is a tunnel where terrorists hide. Every child, every adult born as a crime, and so every death can be justified. And that's the language they use in all the headlines. A blast at the hospital. Palestinians died. Won't name who killed them, who fired the missile, and all done with weapons our taxes supplied. And that's why we say we won't call a ceasefire, because we did the same thing to the colonized. In fact, they learned it from us in reserves we assigned and studied about South Africa to start apartheid, but the words that we use must be scrutinized. It's our language, they say, that is harmful and vile, and the horrors and violence only told on one side, and so the oppressed must always qualify, can't speak their own lives, must condemn and apologize, held collectively guilty in the Western world's eyes, human animals, they said, and dehumanized. And it's not even hidden, it's all in plain sight. You can hear their own words on the news every night. And so children are rendered collateral damage while the world turns away and can't find the language, a problem, they say, that is meant to be managed, to be wiped off the map, to be bombed and then vanquished, pushed out to the desert until they just vanish. We said nothing about checkpoints or open-air prisons, nothing about administrative detention for children, cement in the wells when the settlers move in, no water, electricity, cut-off provisions, maximum damage, don't worry about precision, and no fighting back against the conditions. The story will only ever start with resistance. Why would they do this? They must all be villains. Why would they throw rocks? Must be their religion inherently hateful? That's just their tradition. So we ship in more weapons for hundreds of billions, a cycle of violence consuming the innocents, and there's always a reason. They're all human shields, a depot for arms every hospital conceals, every mosque filled with fiends, every bakery. So it's not a war crime to cut off the meals, to cut off the feeds, to bomb all the exits, say they caused their own deaths if anyone regrets it, a misfired rocket whenever the shells hit, blocked investigations and evidence selective, just muddy the waters. Western media accepts it, and all other stories not allowed to express it because they want Gaza defeated, erased, and deleted, to take the seashore and inhabit the beaches, to mow down the olives and steal all the keys, to move in the houses as bold as they please, and they do it to you, and they did it to me. For generations, the wretched of the earth have been squeezed into ghettos and townships, reserves by decrees, with the tanks and the courts and the bombs and police, while the law chips away degree by degree, and they'll say there's no option but to die on your knees while you ask nicely, please. Your existence is a blight to the powerful's ease, and they'll never play nice, but they say they've the right. Still, they cannot suppress when oppressed people rise and chant out free Palestine, shaking the skies, who cannot be cowed by the media's lies, and they'll say that this love is just hate in disguise. But there's so much solidarity that can't be denied, refusing the narrative of rule and divide to call for the value of each human life. So we chant and we sing and we march side by side, and our voices cry out as our crowds grow in size. Long live Gaza! Long live Palestine! Thank you, everybody.